Bill O'Reilly is joining us. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com. His latest book, Killing England, is perfect for the holidays. Bill, as I was thinking about all of this stuff yesterday with Tavis Smiley now, which I don't know if he's guilty or innocent, but he came out and said, I didn't do it. And if a former relationship with somebody is going to be, terms for dismissal, we're really in trouble. And I want to defend myself. And we're starting to see now a pushback. And as I was thinking about this, Bill, it reminds me of Emmett Till. Emmett Till was killed, and everybody knows, because a woman said he whistled at her, made a cat call. And he was killed in horrific ways. 60 years later, that woman says, okay, well, he didn't really whistle at me. She was lying.
Sure. You know, it's interesting because I did my commentary yesterday on BillO'Reilly.com, almost the same as you did it 2 seconds ago. It's almost the same.
No, well, it is the same. We just are writers. I don't have writers. We just listen to you and we just transcribe it and rewrite it.
That's good. I'm very flattered. But I took it a step further in the sense that every person in this country is now going to be affected by this warlock business, as you put it, because it's coming after the president of the United States. And now that the Russian thing has fallen apart, then they cannot put that back together again. That's done. That the anti-Trump, hate Trump people are saying, all right, we're going to get them with the women. Now, I understand that there is going to be a story breaking today along the lines of what you just laid out with Oklahoma. But this story is going to be women coming forward saying we were offered money to say that Donald Trump molested us. I understand it's going to break today.
Is this the tape that you have been talking about?
Yeah, this has to do with the tape, but I understand the tape is not going to be put out today. The women will come forth today. But it's the same scenario that I've been saying since last April when you were the only one to have me on after they did this to me. All right? And I said back then, this is a fraud. Now, that is my case. I don't know what happened in the other cases. And as you said, all accused are guilty by headline. It's guilt by headline. And Americans have got to turn against that, or we're going to lose the entire country, because this is not going to stop. You know, consensual, whatever it may be, is lumped in with the most horrendous crimes. And it's not going to stop because the lawyers know that they can now make these accusations, ruin people's lives, get money, lots of money, just for the accusations. And this is running wild. And if people don't understand how serious this is when it goes to the president of the United States, again, I do not know what Donald Trump did or did not do. All right? But there are women who are going to say they were offered significant money. All right? In one case, $200,000 to say that Trump did something.
Okay, first of all, I don't know whether you're using like a 1960s phone. I feel like I'm calling the past and Ted Kennedy or Jack Kennedy because it's fading in and out on me.
Yeah, I'm in Nevada, and extraterrestrials have surrounded me.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's true. Is there a landline? Can you go to an old-fashioned landline anywhere there, Bill?
Yeah, let me see. On the break.
Okay, on the break, redial up. Okay, so let me first give you credit. You said, I think 2 weeks ago, that the sex thing would be the angle for 2018 on 2018 on the president, and you're exactly right. That is exactly what they're doing. However, the problem with the president is, He's doing what Roy Moore did. He's changing his story. Okay, I said that on the bus, and it was horrible, and it was locker room talk. Now it's, I didn't say that. That's fake news. Come on.
Well, wait a minute, though. He didn't come out and say that. That was a report, Beck. That was a report. So it wasn't like Trump held a press conference and said that. He didn't. It was reported.
So you don't believe
anonymous source.
You don't believe that either.
I don't believe any anonymous source. I want to make that quite clear. Once the word anonymous source or sources say, or we can't tell you who they are, I don't believe it. Because it is proven time and time and time again that these newspapers primarily use this crap.
So wait. So then we shouldn't have, the Post should not have run Watergate with Deep Throat?
Well, wait a minute now. It's a whole different ball game because what's his name, Bradley, wouldn't allow the stories to go on just Deep Throat. They had to be corroborated by somebody else. Now, sometimes those people were named and sometimes they weren't. But in this climate now, all right, where anonymous sources are being used to destroy all the time, and we've already seen how many stories, Beck, in the last 2 weeks there have been 10 major stories from CNN and all of these others that have been true bogus. All of them were on anonymous sources. All of them.
Right. Now,
how many do we need?
So do you give, is there a difference to you between shoddy journalism that comes back and says correction and fake news?
Sometimes there's a difference because journalists can make mistakes. But I'm telling you that whenever you see anonymous sources used and no corroboration, you cannot believe that. Look, in my
So if we have if you had three sources that remain anonymous, but all three sources corroborated this, I mean, that's really what happened in the Washington Post. They would not have their name used, but they did verify.
It depends. It depends who it is, who's doing it. Look, the Watergate story turned out to be correct, but not all of the reportage was correct.
Correct.
All right, and there was a crisis in the Washington Post. Some of the stories that Woodward and Bernstein put forth weren't true.
Yes.
But now you have an industry, and the industry is hate Trump, get Trump out of office. It's an industry.
Right.
All right? So it's a whole different climate now in this country. And I know, I mean, look, every time I see a story coming out of CNN or the New York Times, I know that the purpose of that story is to injure Trump or anybody who supports Trump. 91% of all of the nightly news stories on Trump for the last 6 months, 91% have been negative.
I know.
So this is a scandal. It's a journalist scandal that now ties into the Warlock business that you mentioned. And I'm telling everybody on BillO'Reilly.com and your program and other programs that I go on, this is going to damage the United States of America in a way that I don't know if we're going to recover from in the next 10 years if it doesn't stop.
I agree. And I went further on my show last night. I did about 10 minutes on what's coming in 2018 and 2019 technologically. And if we don't solve this problem now and start rooting ourselves in a rule of law and fairness and a chance to defend yourself, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos coming soon.
Wait do you see next year's midterms? Where do you see what happens? Because right now, all of the ops are going into, okay, let's talk to every girlfriend the guy ever had on both sides.
Yeah. And
find out if he ever acted untoward. It doesn't matter whether it was 40 years ago. It doesn't matter. If we can get a headline on Drudge, or if we can sell it to the Washington Post, and they'll come into town and we can win. All right, it's not about issues anymore. It's about who can destroy the other first.
And I don't know. When we're going to take a break and come back and talk to you about Roy Moore, because I'm not sure that is going to win every time. More with Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com in a second.
Glenn Beck.
Welcome back to the program from BillO'Reilly.com and the author of Killing England, a great Christmas gift. It's Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Bill.
Yo.
I don't think that I think we learned a lot from Roy Moore's, self-destruction this week, which continues, by the way. He still hasn't conceded. Tell me what you learned from the Roy Moore thing.
Bad candidates usually lose. That's what I learned.
Okay, good.
You have to be a really bad candidate to lose.
Even at 50, Beck, you know me. He was not a good candidate. He did not defend himself to the level where people were believing him. He was saying crazy stuff.
I think this is actually a really good sign. I think the left just expected the right just to, rally behind him. And quite honestly, I did too, because I thought the candidate against him was so bad that
he was bad.
That I thought that they might. But it showed that, no, you can't just run anyone.
Well, you know what? I swung that election because I said to, millions of people I wouldn't vote for either of them. And I think that's what happened.
You did it. You did it.
Said, O'Reilly's right. I just can't get down and vote for either of these people.
What I enjoy about you is your humility. It's awesome.
I have to work at that, Beck. It's not something that comes easy.
Might want to try a little harder. So, what do you think of him not conceding?
Well, what else does this guy have to do besides ride the horse around Alabama? I mean, he has nothing else to do. So, that's what these people are. They, after this, Roy Moore disappears forever.
And Steve Bannon, can you say the same?
Bannon, I never bought into the fact that when somebody shows up at a political campaign, no matter who it is, Charles Barkley, Bannon, anybody, that any American voter is going to, I'm voting for him because Charles Barkley told me to.
Yes.
I mean, nobody does that.
Correct.
You just said you swung the election. What are you talking about?
Well, nobody but him.
I swung the election in a way that was not endorsing anyone.
Okay.
If you follow my reasoning.
All right. Okay. I got it. I got it.
Okay.
We're so far beneath you, Bill, that we can't follow all of that.
I think that's unfair to both you and Stu.
Oh, thank you.
You guys aren't beneath me.
Right.
You're not. I mean, you keep up pretty well.
Thank you for that, Your Royal Highness.
You're welcome. It's Christmas.
All right. So has the idea of Trumpism been discredited? And I mean it this way. What works for Donald Trump doesn't work for other people. I mean, it's not an ideology. It is a guy.
Sure, but he's got to change. In the next segment, maybe we can get into that because I know you're up against a break. And by the way, I need you to give me to do me a favor and think about this when we come back. I need to order breakfast soon, and I don't know what to have. Can you guys make some suggestions? I'm 3 hours behind you in Nevada here, so I need some suggestions.
We'll do a web poll on that one, Bill.
Hang on, I just got a tweet in. Somebody said arsenic.
How cruel.
Yeah.
The first thing we hear when your program goes on the air is love.
Yeah.
So remind that listener, please.
All right. When we come back, I want to talk to you about what you said about Russia a few minutes ago, that you thought that was over. Also, tax reform. What the heck is Marco Rubio doing? And also, maybe we'll get a little into Star Wars and Churchill coming up.
I hope so.
Glenn Beck. You're listening to the Glenn Beck Program.
Before we get into things, I want to ask you, and I also want to alert Bill O'Reilly to this story. I want you to go to glennbeck.com right now. I'm going to do a monologue next hour that you need to hear. It is based on a video that you will find on the front page of glennbeck.com. It is from Sweden, and it is the most disturbing video I think I have seen because it takes us right back to the 1930s. It is the Netherlands doing a study on how much is a life worth, and it's a TV report with a Down syndrome guy. Who is just standing there with some other reporter and a guy from the government saying, "Look, this is how much this guy is costing all of us," and they're talking about the Down syndrome guy, and he's following it, but he doesn't understand the ramifications of what they're saying. Is we should eliminate people like this. It is horrifying video. And you need to stand for life right now. We are going down the same path that we did in the 1930s, except this time we have the technology to do it. So please go to glennbeck.com and share it with a friend. And we'll talk about it coming up in a half an hour or so. Bill O'Reilly, Donald Trump, you just said, needs to change. How do you mean?
Well, we were talking about the anonymous sources situation and how that's being used to diminish everything that President Trump does. And by the way, a guy like Brian Ross, who I've known for years, who got suspended at ABC for doing a report that wasn't true based on anonymous sources, Ross has the right, once the source misleads him, to tell the world who the source was.
And he should.
And ABC should have ordered him to do that.
Yes. Okay?
So that tells you that there's an investment by these networks in diminishing Trump. So it's beyond any reasonable doubt. So the Trump's got to understand that what's coming now is a series of personal attacks. They'll try to find more women to come out and say whatever they say. Now, this report today, if it comes out that 5 women are going to say they were offered money to besmirch Donald Trump, not after he was president, but before. If this comes out, this will do a long way to providing some defense for Trump. But He's got to have a SWAT team up there just to basically, every time something comes out, to say it's a lie, it's not true, and here are the facts. He's got to meet it head on. And if he doesn't, the snowball's already rolling down, and, the strategy's already out, and Schumer and Pelosi are going to just ram it down and hope that he can't survive, and that's what's going to happen.
Let me go to this. He also has to be based in reality, and I know you don't think there's anything with the Russia thing. I think there is with the FBI. I think there's something with Russia with Trump's people, and I think there was with the Clintons. Where it is, how much it is, how damning it is, but there's been an infiltration campaign going on by Putin, and they don't care. They're doing it to all of us, all of America, and all of the politicians that have power. And there's a new report out that shows that Donald Trump will not recognize this campaign of disinformation or influence operations. Because he's taking it that it's personal, and that didn't win the election, and he's not paying attention. That's dangerous, Bill.
Okay, but that's two different things.
I know it is, but he doesn't.
I agree that Putin will do everything he can to undermine the United States. All right, and anybody that know that is a fool.
That's Donald Trump.
No, Putin will. Well, okay.
Yeah, Donald Trump will not recognize that.
separate it right now because we don't know. We're not talking to Trump. We don't know. If I could interview him, I would find out. But all right, so you start with Putin is trying to undermine the country. Okay, we all know that. All right, now is Trump refusing to look at data that would prove that? If that's true, and again, we have anonymous source reporting here, that's bad. All right, if that's true. But if it's collusion with his campaign, and he already is on the record saying there wasn't any and I didn't do anything, he doesn't want to hear that over his grapefruit every morning over and over, and I understand that. So there's two different things in play here.
I agree, and I've been trying to separate them, and the American people are having a hard time separating them because we're all playing politics. Right. And, of course, the FBI and the press are not separating them because they're playing politics. But it is vital to America that we separate them. Yes. This is going on, and somebody must address it, and the only one who can is the president.
Well, look, I mean, you've got to basically have some confidence in the national security apparatus and General Kelly as the chief of staff that they're not fools, and Mattis in the Defense Department, that they know Russia's an adversary. I mean, these are pretty smart, good men. So I'm not in a hopeless situation. I think they know what's happening, but they just have to articulate it a little bit better.
Okay. Let me switch to tax. It looked like yesterday that it was all going to go through and we were going to have this for Christmas. And now Rubio is coming out and saying, no, I won't vote for this.
All right. You know, Rubio wants to run and challenge Trump in 2020. All right. So that's number one. Everybody should know that the senator from Florida is thinking about mounting a primary challenge. So, number two, Rubio wants to get out that he is protecting the families. He wants a higher deduction for child care. So this puts him on the side of all the families. Number three, I believe that Rubio will compromise and vote for the bill.
Yeah, if he's the guy holding it up, it's not going to sit well with people.
I mean, and he doesn't want to kill his chances.
No.
By killing, and that would. So no. I think it's politics as usual.
Any comment on the Disney-Fox situation?
It's all about content. It's all about Disney wanting to rule the world and, bringing in a number of things that give them programs that they can stream for money. And on the other side, they just wanted the money.
Yeah.
And they got it.
Disney is going to come up with its own kind of Netflix scenario.
Yeah, Hulu.
Yeah.
Like the Hulu hoop.
Yes.
Remember the Hulu hoop?
Yes.
And I think we have pictures of Beck in the Hulu hoop. I think there are pictures
No, I
that
don't
exist.
believe there are.
No.
And last question for you. Churchill, the movie Darkest Hour, I saw it last night. Tremendous. Tremendous, Bill. You will love it. It's an absolute must-see. Gary Oldman he deserves an Oscar. I will never watch him accept it, but he deserves it. He brings Churchill absolutely to life. Mm-hmm. It is so well done. It is so well researched. I mean, it nails it. It taught me stuff, and I've read a lot about Churchill. It taught me stuff I didn't know about Churchill. And brings World War II and what they were really facing when he was just in office for like 10 days. It really brings it to light in a whole new way. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know you love my book, Killing Patton, where we talked about Churchill extensively, and you keep calling me, and I will make time to talk to you about Killing Patton and Killing England.
Yeah, well.
That's nice.
Because I know you want more.
Well, I know. I actually just want to show you the toe tag that I have of General Patton's that shows that your book is inaccurate.
Yeah, sure.
I do have it. I've told you this before.
We got into, what the real, and this is not in the movie, but the real interesting thing about Churchill was how Stalin humiliated him, and how Churchill, a man of tremendous pride, had to deal not only with Hitler but with Stalin and
Roosevelt.
And Roosevelt, but Roosevelt wasn't in business to humiliate Churchill.
No.
The other two were.
Yeah.
So good. I'm glad you liked the movie. I will go to see it on your recommendation.
Are you going to see Churchill first or Star Wars? Do you go to a Star Wars movie?
Star Wars, I'm not a big kind of extraterrestrial guy.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine seeing you in the... I can't imagine seeing you. Do you ever go to movies where people kind of turn around and they're like, and you can hear them saying, "That's freaking Bill O'Reilly behind me"?
Yeah, I usually kind of slip in just after the movie starts, so I don't, frighten anyone.
What's your favorite?
I really don't want to frighten anybody.
It is like going to a movie and seeing Bela Lugosi. What?
Yeah.
What is?
It's like the Blob. Remember the Blob attacked the movie theater and everybody had to run out?
No.
When I go in, that's what happened.
So, what's your favorite? Just kind of movie, just a movie, not a film. What's your favorite movie?
The Godfather 1 and 2 are my favorite of all time. They're just amazing movies. You can watch them over and over again and learn every time you watch them. And I like the Bonds, the early James Bonds. Were just so stylish, and now they're blowing up everything. But
oh my gosh, Daniel Craig is the best Bond yet.
You like him?
Oh, I love him.
But he never smiles, Beck, and he doesn't have any humor.
Because
he just blows things up.
he's a hurt man inside. Bill, Killing England is available. Tell us about the Christmas stuff you got going.
Okay, if you go to BillO'Reilly.com, and we'd like you to do that for my essay of yesterday about Donald Trump and how he's going to be attacked and what he has to do about it. If you go in there and you buy 3 premium membership gift certificates, you get 4 free O'Reilly books, any 4 you want. All right, so that's 7 gifts, Beck, that you can spread out all over the place for a very reasonable price. And we have the We Say Merry Christmas floor mats, which are flying out of here because everybody wants to say Merry Christmas, sends a nice message. So we got lots of good stuff on BillO'Reilly.com, and I appreciate you letting me promote it. It's very kind of you to do that.
Thank you very much, Bill. I think we're going to try to have you on Tuesday of next week. I don't know if our producers have talked to you about that, but we'd like to have you on.
Yes, they have, and I'm delighted, as they say, in Monaco, France.
Right. All right. Well, it will be quite a bash on Tuesday. Thank you, Bill. Bill O'Reilly.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me in. Bye.